Welcome. My name is Doug Beatty. I'm a minister here at Westside Christian Church. I'm in my office and I am the professor of world religions, New Testament survey, basic ethics, and we're looking at doing a couple other classes in the future. One of them is an introduction to Old Testament and then some critical thinking. But anyway, here we are for world religion. I want to just give you a quick introduction so you see me, see a face connected with the voice you'll hear in some of these videos, and understand a little bit better about me. I'm wearing a shirt from Trinity College, that's out of Dublin, Ireland. Was there several years ago, enjoyed going to that university, if you will, and taking a look. I did not study there. I did visit and was enjoyed some old document. Excuse me, some old documents. I have not been drinking. Okay, comparative world religion. I just want to point out a couple things. I want to encourage you to do your work on time. Take a look at the syllabus. There is a syllabus quiz. You need to get 100% of it. And I'm going to be going over that in this introduction, probably around 20 minutes. But I also want to introduce to you some other things that we do in class, kind of give you an idea as to why. I think this will help you to understand what we're doing. I'm trying to get you to understand a little bit about religions around the world. They're uniquely different. Okay, they all have a different history. This is an introduction. There is no way on earth anyone can give you a full understanding of any religion. Okay, a Buddhist will have a hard time telling you all about Buddhism. A Christian will have a hard time telling you all about Christianity, the histories and all the theological implications and all the histories and so on, and all the different strands of Buddhism, of Hinduism. You see a book of Hinduism behind me, maybe, if you recognize it. Of course, everything's maybe backwards. I don't know. But so, and then we have Jewish and Muslim. And there are different, what we call sects, S-E-C-T-S, different divisions called denominations in Christianity. So, but we're going to get an introduction to these ideas, and we're going to read a little bit of everyone's text. Okay, we're going to just get a sampling. We can't get a full reading. We don't have the time. This course has basically 15 lessons, and we're going to introduce to you some things and then jump into it real quick. So here we are. I'm just going to help you through the syllabus and give you some introduction as we go through. One, you need to be able to identify the different texts, the central religious figures of these different religions, and especially Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Those are the main five. Now, we're also going to be looking at Confucianism, Taoism, Sikhism, and a brief look at those. And then there's the Japanese, Shinto, and the different Chinese things that I mentioned. So I believe that now I kind of got lost in my thought as to what we're covering. This book is our textbook. So it's Invitation to World Religion. It is an Oxford University Press, and it has, there are several editions of this. So this is the proper edition. This is the third edition, 2019. And it's listed in the syllabus as well as in the front of the classwork as to what textbook to get. Okay, so we're going to be able to identify the different ones, demonstrate knowledge of their different beliefs and practices, and I'm going to give you a challenge to find a particular arena or a particular theme that really intrigues you, something like marriage or death practices, maybe holy days, or maybe something else. What is it about water that really intrigues you? about a religion, and what do all the religions do about these things. This theme that you choose will be done with every religion we connect with, okay, as we study them. So it is up to you to come up with that particular thought. And if you have an idea that has not been listed, it's listed on your assignments in your coursework. If you're not familiar with Red Zone, if I think you've gotten there already, be sure to go in the portals of our class on the left side when you're in Red Zone. There's some learning videos that I have for those unfamiliar with Red Zone and with those unfamiliar with MLA 8 formatting. So you need to have that in all my classes. So this is an academic class. It's not a creative writing. Creativity is kind of cool, but you need to have academics in mind. So that means you need to have sources, you need to have citations for those sources, and you need to know how to do that properly and to properly put together a page that has the heading and the page number with your last name and all the right spacing, and all that needs to be correct. And if you don't have it right, I'm going to count off 20% of your grade until you get it right. So you better get that right. If you don't know what that means, take a look in the portals. I have a pretty simple assignments early on to help you get to understand that. But that's why anyone takes Comp 101 or 102 to help with getting you ready for these other classes, including this one. Okay. So we're going to be able to identify different aspects of the different religions, demonstrate knowledge of their beliefs of these major religions, describe the historical narrative and the culture backgrounds and expressions of these, analyze the concepts that are basic to this kind of study. So this kind of study has not been around forever. The world religious studies have only been going on for about 150 years. Okay, so it wasn't until the late 1800s that people started looking at that, a religion, and examining them in certain parts that we do. Belief systems, historical context, their particular texts that they read and value, and different people that are involved in that, because not only do they have the original person who brought this religion to them, but now they also have people who are interpreting that religion and the texts, and other people that are interpreting it, and maybe now we have several strands of that religion called denominations, and so on. So these are all part of the study, okay? And we need to be able to assess the implications and the variety of religious experience in this diversity of religions that we're going to look at. Finally, you need to be able to summarize the key characteristics and the definition of what religion is. And some people will debate whether Buddhism is actually a religion. Buddha wasn't a god. He didn't claim to be a god. He didn't want to be a god. He didn't even want to be a religion. He was really a philosopher. Some people will say Buddhism is just a philosophy. But a lot of Buddhists would disagree. So, who's to say? What's a religion? That would be a good question. And that's something I want you to be challenged to maybe ask yourself. What's a religion? So I'm moving around because I'm going to show you some different books. We're going to read different texts. So this is the Bhagavad Gita. We're not going to read the whole thing. It's a pretty thick little book, but you can get this probably pretty cheap online. Find it in a used bookstore for next to nothing. But it has one of the essential writings of Hinduism. And so it says it's a good read. So I have here the text of the Jewish called the Tanakh. And this is the original Hebrew text. And I'm just going to throw you for a loop when you see it. There it is. Yep. Chicken scratches through and through, right? So this is Joshua. some judges and have to get to the front of the book. Feels like the back of the book because they have a different language and they go through. So this is Exodus. And any rate, not that you need to know Hebrew or even learn it, but here is a more familiar view, and it's called the Tanakh. The Tanakh of the Holy Scriptures. It's an acrostic of the Torah, the Nevi'im, and the Ketuvim. And so we're going to be reading parts of the Tanakh, some parts maybe from Genesis, maybe Exodus, and a part of some of the prophets, maybe Isaiah and different ones. I read through it every year, the whole thing. Now, here's an English translation of the Tanakh, and I read through this pretty regular to keep on top of course, for Christians, it's just an Old Testament. The Jews don't like that term. It implies that it's of no more value, maybe. Old, they don't like that. So I wouldn't use Old Testament. So we're going to read part of the Quran. I have a Holy Quran here, and in it, with the ones that they really want you to use, it has both Arabic and English. So this is part of the Quran, and it's a small book. It's about a third of the size of the New Testament, but we're going to read part of that. Here I have, just as an artifact, I was in Jericho a few years ago, and I was at a store there and bought in Israel this is called a Muslim lamp, and it's the way it's made became popular by particular Muslim people. The Islamic community became very popular with that. I'm looking here at some other things that I've got. Not that it's terribly important. I mentioned the Hindu. I think you can see a picture of probably Krishna, and that's what that is. So, at any rate, you'll get to know those a little bit more commonly as we go through here. So the challenge for this class is keeping up with the material. So we basically have one lesson a week, or maybe we have, if you're taking it in the spring and or fall semester, you have one lesson every 2 weeks because the lessons are pretty extensive. So for the summer course, it's compacting the whole semester of a fall or a spring semester into one or two months of the summer. So it's pretty quick. You're going to get to know these things very fast. So keep up with the assignments. It's all about points in my class. I want you to read, and I want you to be able to summarize. Okay, so you're going to have to summarize some of the texts of the different religions, summarize part of the textbook, summarize some articles that you're going to read. If you're interested in holy days, for instance, there's different, Diwali, there's Pentecost, there's the Sabbath for Jews, and Ramadan for the Muslims, and different religious holy days. Of course, New Year's, big one for the Chinese culture. And September, like 15th or something like that, is the birthday of Confucius. So these different days would be important for those people interested in writing on about holy days. So you'll have an article, and you're going to be looking up and finding your own article to summarize, and then using these as a citations for and source resources for your final paper. Your final paper will then be about that theme that you have chosen. Maybe it's about weddings or funerals or something else. Those seem to be the most common, and you can pick your own and something different that maybe interests you. And if you're not really sure, you might have something come to mind later. So the first thing I want you to do is to do the syllabus. Okay, do the syllabus quiz, do the attendance quiz. Make sure you email me, and I will not take emails from Gmail or Google or Yahoo or anything like that. It needs to be through the Labette email system. That's the only way we can communicate. Okay, so and then you need to also make sure that your assignments are all submitted through Red Zone. You don't even have to push the submit button until you're sure all of the assignment is in, and make sure you do that with the proper MLA8 formatting. So I want to make sure you do that. Okay, and then if your formatting incorrect, I'll take off 20%. All right, so that information is in there. You don't want to plagiarize. In other words, it needs to be your own work. You need to have been summarizing it in your own words and understanding what's going on. And if ever you have any questions, be sure to email me through the Red Zone email. And also when you're submitting works, make sure they're in a Word document. I would prefer Word docs, DOCX. RTF is okay. It just opens up a little different. It should show everything. I'm not going to be able to take Google PDFs or anything from your Google Doc platform. It needs to be in Word document, okay? And you can transfer those and make sure that they're in there properly so I can read them. I don't have the equipment and updated computer to do other things. So I'll be sure to, since we're doing points, you have 2 times a week, sometimes 4 times a week, a Thursday night and a Sunday night. You need to post on the discussion board. So on that discussion board, you get 7 points for your own thoughts, and then 4 points for each follow-up discussion on someone else's thoughts. So you need to reply to those. There's 4 points each, and make sure they're of substance. Okay, you don't want to, oh, that's really cool, Betty. Yeah, you did a great job, and I love what you're wearing. I hope everything goes well, and good luck. That doesn't mean anything to me, and it won't count any points for you. Okay, it needs to be on topic, and it needs to be of some substance and value to the whole discussion. Okay, so your other things, everything's worth points. Reading, summaries, and doing your work. So this is all geared to help you understand the material better. I want to get across to you the proper information and helping you understand the differences between the different religions. And so there you have it. That's the introduction for you. You'll write a short summary of this just so I know you've reviewed it and you've heard what I want you to know. I've kind of rushed through this, but I wanted to keep it under 20 minutes. So I look forward to answering any questions and helping you through this. And I look forward to you learning something. So I always learn something each semester and enjoy learning myself. So have a great semester. Look forward to hearing from you, and good luck.